Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. Today we will be presenting an analysis of the short story named The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. But before that, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Rubia Khadijah Nasution.
My name is Muhammad Iswadi bin Muhammad Hisham.
My name is Aina Natasha binti Muhammad Haris Fadila.
My name is Arif Jauhari bin Aminul Hasrin.
My name is Nukmar Patricia binti Ahmad Hamdan.
So, our objective of our short story are short story information, plot and freighted triangle, settings, character and characteristic, conflict, point of view, theme, and literary device. Next, let's move on to the short story background. We are presenting the short story The Gift of the Magi written by O. Henry, which was the pen name of William Sidney Potter. This story was first published in 1905 in the New York Sydney World newspaper and later included in his short story collection The 4 Million in 1906. It reflects important themes such as love, sacrifice, selflessness during Christmas. These universal themes make the story meaningful even today. O. Henry was well known for his story about ordinary people and his famous twist endings. The Gift of the Magi is considered one of his most popular works, and it continues to be read around the world, especially during the holiday season.
So now, I will be using Freytag's triangle to explain the plot structure. So now let's begin. So, the exposition introduces us to Della and Jim, a poor but deeply loving couple. It is Christmas Eve, and Della desperately wants to buy a present for Jim. However, she only has $1.87. This sets the stage for the story's central conflict. How can she give him a meaningful gift despite their poverty? In the rising action, Della decided to sell her most valuable possession, that is her hair, for $20. With that money, she buys Jim a fine gold chain for his treasured watch. This moment builds suspense and shows the depth of her love and selflessness. The climax. This happens when Jim comes home and sees Della with her hair cut off. His reaction is unusual, neither anger nor joy. This reaction leaves Della fearful that he may no longer love her the same way. This moment is the emotional peak of the story, filled with tension and uncertainty. In the following action, the truth is revealed. Jim confesses that he sold his watch in order to buy Della the jewel combs she had admired for a long time. But now, Della cannot use them because her hair is gone. Their sacrifices cross paths in an ironic twist. Last but not least, the resolution shows that both gifts are now useless. But the real meaning is clear. Their love for each other is stronger than material possessions. The narrator compares them to the Magi, the wise men who gave meaningful gifts, showing that Jim and Della's sacrifice makes them truly wise.
Let's move on to the next one, which is setting. We have 3 settings, which is setting of time, setting of place, and setting mood and atmosphere. First one, setting of time. The story takes place on Christmas Eve in the early 90s. We know this because in the opening it says, tomorrow will be Christmas Day. The mention of small amounts of money like $1.87 also reflect the time period when even a little money had big value. Christmas is an important time setting because it connects directly with the ideas of giving, sacrifice, and love. Next one is setting of place. The main place in the story is a small, modest apartment where Jim and Della live. The narrator described it as the shabby little couch, which shows their poverty. Apart from the apartment, some important scenes also happen in the city shops, where Della sells her hair and buy Jim presents. This place highlight both their struggle and their love for each other. And lastly, the setting of mood and atmosphere. The atmosphere of the story is warm and loving, but touched by poverty. At first, it feels like sad and hopeless, but with lines like life is made of soap, sniffle, and smile, with sniffle predominating. But in the end, the mood changed into something meaningful and wise. The narrator says, of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest, they are the Magi. They show that even though Jim and Della are poor, their love and sacrifice make them truly rich.
Today, I will be talking about characters and their characteristic from the short story The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. This is a famous story that teaches us about love, sacrifice, and what truly matters in a relationship. The two main characters in the story are Della and Jim, a young married couple who are not rich in money, but very rich in love for each other. In my presentation, I will first describe Della, then Jim, and finally explain what their actions tell us about the theme of the story. So, let's begin with Della. Della is a very loving wife. From beginning of the story, we can see how much she wants to make Jim happy. She does not think of herself, but only about what gift she can buy for him. Even though she has very little money, this shows that her love for Jim is genuine and not based on material things. Another important characteristic of Della is that she is selfless. She made the huge decision to cut and sell her beautiful long hair, which was her pride, so she can buy Jim a special present. Imagine how difficult that must have been, because for a woman at that time, long hair was seen as a symbol of beauty. But Della did not hesitate because her happiness depends on Jim's happiness. We can also say Della is brave. It is not easy to give up on something valuable, especially something connected to her identity as a woman. But she still did it because she values love more than appearance. Through this sacrifice, we see that Della put her relationship above herself. Now, let's moving on to Jim. Jim is equally loving and devoted. He wants to give Della a gift that will truly make her happy. So he decides to sell his most valuable possession, his watch. The watch had been passed down to him from his father and grandfather, so it had great sentimental value. Yet, Jim did not hesitate to part with it for Della's sake. This shows us another side of Jim. He is caring and thoughtful. He knows how much Della loves her hair, so he bought her a set of comb that she had always admired in the shop window. Even though Della no longer had her hair, Jim's action showed that he wanted to give her something beautiful, something that represented his attention and love. Jim is also a character who values love above material possession. By selling his watch, he proved that no object, no matter how expensive or meaningful, is more important than the happiness of his wife. His devotion reflects the theme that true love requires sacrifice. So, in conclusion, So when we put the two characters together, Della and Jim, we see a very strong message. Both of them sacrifice what is most valuable to them in order to give a gift to the other. In the end, their gift become useless. Della cannot use the gum because she cut her hair, and Jim cannot use the chain because he sold his watch. But this is where the real meaning lies. The story shows us that the greatest gift they gave each other was not the object, but their love and willingness to sacrifice.
So today, I'll be talking about the conflicts and the point of view of the story called The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. So basically, this story has three conflicts, which one of them is external conflict, internal conflict, and the third one is situational irony as conflict. So I will talk about the external conflict first. So this first conflict, which is external, means man versus society. So for example that I can show you to represent this conflict is when Jim and Della are struggling against poverty. So they want to overcome it by buying each other a meaningful Christmas gift, but they don't have money to buy it. Because of this, they are forced to make some of the difficult sacrifices which they are going through. So let's dive into the second conflict, which is internal conflict. This second conflict is internal, which is man versus self. Della, who struggles with the decision of cutting her long, beautiful hair, which is one of her most possession prizes, just so that she can afford a gift for Jim. So later on, we can learn that Jim also makes a similar sacrifice by selling his treasured pocket watch just to buy a gift for Della. So the third conflict is situational irony. This third conflict shows that in the end of the story, their sacrifices makes the gift useless, like unworthy. So Jim no longer has his watch, so the chain that Della bought has no purpose. So same as Della no longer has her hair, so the combs that Jim bought for her are useless. So we can see that this creates an emotional conflict between expectation and reality. So our last point is point of view. This story is told in third person limited omniscient. We can clearly see Della's thought and feelings, and at the same time, the narrator makes witty and thoughtful comments about love and sacrifice. The tone is warm, sympathetic, and playful, which is one of O. Henry signature style. And last but not least, our conclusion. In conclusion, The Gift of the Magi uses both external and internal struggles as well as irony to highlight the themes of love and sacrifice. And the third person narration helps us correctly connect deeply with the characters while enjoying O. Henry's playful tone. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Today, I'm gonna talk about main theme and literary device about the short story called The Gift of Maggie by O. Henry. So, to start, this story teaches us a valuable lesson, and the first lesson is about sacrificial love. So in the story, both Della and Jim give up their most prized possession for each other. Della has long, beautiful hair that she treasures so much. Jim owns a gold watch that has been in his family for a generation. But Della sells her hair to buy chain for Jim's watch, and Jim, without telling her, sells his watch to buy a beautiful comb for Della hair. So what does this show us?